Hello everyone, and welcome back again to part 2 of Jean-Pierre's participation in my Just Let Go album. Now, to quickly recap, we talked about his keyboard work on the song Evening Shadows, as well as the song It's Okay to Have Fun. So now we're going to switch to Jean-Pierre's piano performance on the song It's Okay to Have Fun. And he has really done a stellar job, and he always does. And so let's get right into the studio and start rolling that footage. Here we go.
You can't get the reverb out of a separate sound on that, I don't suppose. Although I don't want to mess with that really. The latency is back on the reverb, but is that going to bother you?
It's a little annoying.
Yeah, I could just use your reverb. I'm not sure how to get. Yeah, without doing a lot of. Why don't you just go ahead and use your reverb? Because I'd have to repatch to get the reverb into.
Okay.
Patch you through a reverb, and it's more trouble than it's worth, I think. Let's see how it sounds. If it seems like too much, then we'll get stressed about it.
Well, if it seems too much, I can change the verb.
Right. I have a couple of questions about you. You've been a musician almost all your life and have played professionally for many years. Is there anything musically that you haven't tried before that you would like to try?
Well, I've actually been a musician at least since I've been born. And I say this because it was always inside of my head. And at an age where there's no way to really articulate what's going on, music was going on nonetheless. So learning instruments was just happily something that was available to me. Throughout the course of history, not everybody that's had gifting in various things has been able to discover that, let alone pursue it. So I've been very blessed to be able to do that. What was the other question?
Sorry, I was just so wrapped up in what you were saying. Is there anything musically you haven't tried?
I have never tried to play the tuba. And it probably...
No, anything you haven't tried that you want to try. Sorry, I didn't get the whole question. So from the start?
Yeah, kind of see what he's come up with so far.
Okay. Like here, perhaps?
That's right. Okay, so let's go back. Where his stop down is, it's a 2/4 bar that happens there.
Right.
And I just have to, I'll punch in coming out of that into this.
You ever been to New Orleans?
To New Orleans?
Yeah.
I have not. And here's an interesting thing. At least it's interesting to me. Your viewers might think that this is just ridiculous. But I have had an affinity towards elements of the sounds that come out of New Orleans since I was a tiny kid. I love that stuff. From the second line music to the Cajun styles. Oh my goodness, when I hear it. And now that I've been able to taste some of the goodness of the cuisine, I mean, I start smelling the etouffee and the spices and hearing the music. And it feels like a place that I've got in my system that I've never been to.
You definitely got to go because it apparently, I've only been once, and can't wait to go back, but apparently when you're born in New Orleans, you're given a tuba because there's so many tuba players there. It's like crazy. Seriously, there are tuba players everywhere.
Oh my goodness.
It's like maybe there may be more trombone players, but there's a lot of tuba players.
Wow.
So.
And they hand you a roll of toothpaste as well, so you also have a tuba toothpaste.
But
if you do go to New Orleans, don't take Jeremie. Anyway, we digress. Let's see. I've actually got things I'm supposed to be doing here.
So the question, I don't even know about what else I might want to do or what I haven't done. I don't even know how to answer that question. I've done a lot. I haven't done everything. I know that I've got strengths and I know that I've got limitations, and I think that I'm smart and humble enough at this particular point that if somebody wants me to do a session or come join a band and fill in or whatever, and for whatever reason that's not the thing. We've got the Straight Ahead Jazz gig coming up. It's on Saturday. All right, it's 2 days away. Well, first of all, I just will raise my hand and say thank you very much, but I'm not a straight ahead player. So call this guy, call this lady. There you go. So where the stop down happens, there's the 2/4, and I'll come in on the 1 right after that.
I think I know what you mean. It says you want 2 bars. Like there.
Yes, right, exactly there.
Yeah, stop. 1, 2, come in. Da-da-da.
Yeah.
Okay, we just started from there and you just mess around with it? Or we
Yeah.
start doing capes?
Yeah, if you don't mind, we can keep the red light running. That's the safest, smartest thing to do.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's go ahead.
I think I would like a bit less reverb. If you can.
Oh, I thought he turned it off so that we could control.
No, the reverb's on. My reverb's latent. It's it's slapping back, which is a little weird. Just for granted, can you turn off your reverb for a second? Let me see. Reverb's less latent.
That's funny.
Perfect. What? I've only encountered you in studio sessions where you're playing somebody else's stuff brilliantly. Do you do your own music as well? Mm-hmm. Do you work on your own? Like, what's your next big project for Jean-Pierre? Do you have anything on the horizon that you're digging into?
Yeah. I've had some bucket list things.
There you go.
In the time since I turned 60, which is really, truly remarkable. So one of the things was a friend of mine is a distributor for the country, I guess, of Nord keyboards. So he got me an endorsement deal with Nord. So I got to become a Nord artist, keyboard artist, at 60 years old. Thinking, okay.
That's cool.
You should tell the people who are still watching what a Nord is.
Oh, my Nord. I've had 3 Nord stages. The Nord stage is not just an instrument, it's several instruments in one. It has a wonderful organ section. It's got piano sections, so there's samples of acoustic pianos. They can be grand pianos, they can be vertical pianos, different kinds of electric pianos. And
all
clavinets
electronic
and such.
though, right?
They're all samples in this case. The organ's not. The organ is a sound that sine waves that are being generated.
So additive.
And it's just a hoot and a nanny to be able to make music on these things. And unlike so many other keyboards where the sounds that come with the keyboard are the sounds that are in here until that keyboard gives up the ghost. With the Nord, if there's things that I want to be different, I can literally scrub all those tunes. Go onto their website and download other pianos and such. And that's been, then I get to take this instrument and make it my own. And that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Create your own sounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I've had 3 of
your
them.
bucket list involving the Nord.
That's the Nord.
2.
If you like, I'll try to match some of that delay. How's that?
2.
That seems pretty good. Let's see how it feels in a track.
Here, this is one. That's just a lovely. I'm kidding. All right.
Good times.
How you feeling about this particular piano in this track so far? Is it seem like the right thing?
Let's listen.
You being the expert. All right.
It's my favorite grand.
It sounds great.
Okay.
It sounds great. It's pretty fat. So it's from the same spot, the two bars, and then the
Yeah.
and a little break.
Yeah.
Great.
I could use more of everything else.
That's the track.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, we're at the chorus.
I'm sorry. Is that better
comfort level there for you?
Probably just a hair more of the main track.
Okay.
The second bucket list thing, I can't really say a whole lot about it, but one day during the time of the shutdown, would have been springtime 2020. I just thought to pick up the phone, which in our parlance isn't the old dial up and push button, but my cell phone, and call a friend that I hadn't seen for a while, who is a musician and also a film producer. Just was calling up to say hi. Are you guys doing okay? And it turned into a question fired back at me. Would you like to compose music for a documentary that I'm working on? So suddenly I found myself with the second bucket list. I've done some soundtrack before, but always as a side guy. Once doing compositions for a couple of the tunes, but normally as a side guy. So suddenly I got to compose music for this, and first of all, it gave me something to do during the shutdown, and I could do all of that stuff from the comfort of my own studio at home, and ideas would come in, and I would explore them at my leisure, craft demos, send them off, and it's been a delightful experience. And the documentary, which I'm not going to go into right now, but just suffice to say that it's a topic that resonates deeply in me, and so I'm really, really happy to be doing something that feeds my soul at the same time as I'm giving back for it.
Did you incorporate the piano surf tune you wrote at age 6?
No, but there is a surf-like tune that was one of the contenders. And so far we haven't got a spot for it. There might yet be a spot for it, or in another production, or not.
You're probably amazed that I remembered that.
Yes, I am.
Just to the viewers, if anybody's looking for a surf piano player, then we got your boy right here.
Right.
Oh,
on.
yeah. Split the difference a little bit less of the whole
The mix.
mix.
How's this feel?
Stop. I forgot. That's the one double chorus that only happens there.
Right. I thought I'd change it up just to give you a fun time today. And then toward the trading eighths, trading 16s, we got that 5/4 measure too that I throw in at you.
I'm gonna have to hear that one again.
Yeah.
Can we just take it back to where we first punched in?
Yes.
All right, moving right along. So, what musicians or artists? Who are your favorite musicians and artists? Who do you follow? Who do you pattern yourself after?
Oh.
I mean, I know I can guess one.
Yes, you can.
And if anybody else has been watching, they can probably answer that question on the quiz at the end. But who else? Who else do you like to listen to? Who else do you?
Or more to the point, who else has been influential? And
Exactly.
again, that's an impossible thing to answer in one swell foop.
Yeah, right.
And I mean, as a little kid, there was some music. Let me stop for a second. My dad had a wonderful record collection, and he listened to music from some of the big singers of that time, Frank Sinatra, Bing Crosby, Ella Fitzgerald. So I got to hear some of that. Plus, he was a fan of some classical music. So I would hear symphonic works. There was a piece, and to this day, I wish that I knew who the orchestra was that recorded a particular version of Ravel's Bolero. If you go looking for Ravel's Bolero, you're going to find 1,000 different recordings,
Yeah.
and some of them are truly appalling.
Yeah.
And some of them are just magical, and this must have been magical because I bought it hook, line, and sinker, and I would sit in front of the hi-fi with a little Remo practice pad, and I would bang along to the 8 minutes of that particular song, and I learned so much from that. I learned dynamics, I learned time, rhythms, and such. There was also Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass. There was,
Of course.
speaking of brass, there were brass ensembles like the Royal Canadian Brass and such that we would listen to, and I ended up loving most all of that. There were music from documentaries. There were musicals, so your Rodgers and Hammerstein sorts of things, and Bernstein and Sondheim doing West Side Story, and so I loved that.
I was wondering if that might get a little bit brighter sound out of that. What do you think? Out of the piano.
Piano, yeah, you could do that. I'll make it a little more.
Because it's easier for me to make it darker later than make it brighter later, I think.
You know, you can do what you need on the other side.
Well, all right, that answers my question. Let's stick with what we got.
Yeah,
I really do. I
like.
trust your judgment on this. I mean,
I want the piano to sound as much like the piano. As soon as we start getting into that realm of brighter stuff, I start hearing smooth jazz, and I just have to excuse myself.
okay, I'm not saying anything. All right.
Yeah. He who speaks next loses.
All right, same place. I made a little bit of adjustment in the volume, so if it feels wrong, let me know.
Okay.
Here we go.
my dad had the sense that when I took piano lessons that I would somehow embrace his dream to become a classical player. And there was classical music that I certainly enjoyed as a little kid, but it just, when the Beach Boys hit, and then when the Beatles hit, my soul just locked in and connected with those guys, and that's what I wanted to do, and I've been doing that ever since. So with people that have been my unmet mentors by and large, then we go to the Beach Boys, and we go to the Beatles, and we go to Johann Sebastian Bach, and we go to Bartók, and we go to Stravinsky, and we go to Ravel, and to Debussy, and then we progress through Led Zeppelin and through Creedence Clearwater Revival, and did I already mention the Beatles? And if I haven't, then I can just keep mentioning those guys, and the Rolling Stones, and Led Zeppelin, and some brilliant music throughout the 70s. And when I discovered a friend of mine who was a record owner and still is to this day in Laguna Beach at Sound Spectrum, I would be a kid. I'd walk into the record store, and aside from the fact that we would close the door and go upstairs and smoke a big one and come back down, and he just, you got to check this out, you got to check this out. And so he introduced me to so much great music. He introduced me to a guy named Pat Metheny. I'd never heard of this character before, and he did a solo album in the mid-70s called The New Chautauqua, I think. Mm-hmm. And I'd never heard anything quite like that. It was amazing. Yeah. And from that, I learned about the band that he had formed with one of my unmet mentors, Lyle Mays, and oh gosh, the sonority and the virtuosity and the creativity that came out of that stuff. It set a bar that I know in my head, there's no way that I can approach that level of playing. These are guys that hear and know on such a deep level. Metheny once said, whatever it is that I hear, I can play. Yeah. I can approximate that from time to time and kind of get close, and then there's the guys that just do it. Yeah. You would imagine Miles Davis was one of those characters. Yeah. So when he did Bitches Brew, the bands that came out of that, your Billy Cobham and your Return to Forever with Chick Corea and Weather Report, holy cow, with Zawinul and with Wayne Shorter and Mahavishnu Orchestra, all these groups and bands that came out of that. There's so much beautiful,
do you
wonderful
remember when
music.
you first heard the Mahavishnu's first record?
Oh, I do. Intermounting Flame.
Yeah. It was like, I mean, this interview is with you, but I remember where I was when that came on the radio, and I remember just like my brain just broke. It was like, what is this?
Yeah.
So it was so different.
Yeah.
Than anything else.
Yeah.
And then somebody pointed out, it's like an hour of fanfares. Which it kind of is.
I've never thought of that, but it's
really,
true.
Really great fanfares, though.
Well, and John McLaughlin, he turns out to be, and again, an unmet mentor. I've never met him.
Yeah.
But during the shutdown, he recorded an album and released it for free. Yeah. People could just download it and soak in this stunning music. Just for shits and giggles, I just want to hear what's going on with because there's two bass solos.
Yeah.
So, here, are the changes for this bass solo the same as a verse?
Let me see.
Yes. Yeah. Same chords as the verse.
Okay. 2 speed.
But it just repeats.
So we don't have to walk down that?
No.
Oh, this is just a loop.
Right. This would be your section here. And this would be the 8th measure. Now we go back to the chorus.
What I wasn't hearing is at the end of the piano solo. Are we doing this? Or is it
Yeah, the
still...
bass is doing the walk down.
Okay, that's what I needed to hear.
Yeah.
So the bass, when it's doing its solo, isn't. It's just
Right.
C, B, E minor. Okay, I'm good.
Okay.
Do you need piano over the bass solo? Should I just park footballs?
Kind of just stay in the background a little bit.
Yeah, thank you.
Let's try it out.
No, don't quote other songs during the bass solo. I would say.
Let's give it a shot, see how it sounds. We can always say no later.
So, just from the bass solo, you really want to go? Or
Yeah.
We got the questions and answers. So, two measures before, and then you're in.
Okay.
Okay. Here it is.
And I want to apologize right now because I think that I've mentioned a lot of artists and a lot of bands that were all guys, but there have been some women that have been so instrumental and so delightful to listen to. And it certainly doesn't begin or end with Joni Mitchell, but it might as well. Ella is so remarkable because she comes from this.
You
this
did mention
time.
Ella.
I did.
Yeah.
When you listen to somebody whose instrument, you were mentioning brass ensembles before and brass instruments, her pitch, are you kidding me? Sinatra's pitch, Bing Crosby's pitch, it is freakishly amazing.
Yeah, no auto-tune in those days.
No, and they didn't need it. Linda Ronstadt, God
gosh.
bless her. I'm so sorry that she's dealing with Parkinson's, but her voice, it just...
Yeah.
Karen Carpenter.
Karen Carpenter. Gosh, I loved her. And still do. Always will.
Yeah. I enjoyed her music too. Albeit I was a small child, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah, you're just a pup, Jeremy.
Yeah.
Wait until you got some years on you, buddy.
Now that time it wasn't meant as a slam, it was actually just a reference, but I would think I was 5, 6 years old. My mom was playing that when we were driving, or she'd play it in the home, and so that music's in me as well from that era. And, and even some of the older stuff too, that was beyond their era, so I get that.
Yeah.
There's so much amazing music from all the generations.
Yeah.
There's stuff from the 50s I love.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Oh, yeah. Some brilliant stuff. Down in the West Texas town of El Paso.
Oh my
1700s and 1800s.
Absolutely.
I like Tchaikovsky. I like Bach.
We do some Vivaldi in Aaron's band. We've rocked it up. But when I listen to Vivaldi, I think, oh, he was a progressive rock, or should I say, he was a metal player 300 years before there were metal players.
Right. I like that. And now it's your turn.
Okay, I wouldn't mind another pass.
Yeah.
You can do it.
You been counting out, or you got it?
Oh, no, I can hear it.
Okay.
Great things going
Guess we should get back to the scheduled program here if we want to get you out of here sometime today. This is
Well, there's no way to talk about me and music without talking about other people around me.
yeah.
Scene 4 in 3, 2, 1. You can do it next time. I'll let you do it.
You're- okay, moving back to our scheduled program. Do you sing?
I do.
Good.
enjoy
Next question. No, sorry. Do you do a lot of singing? I don't know if I've ever really heard you sing. Do you do a? Where do you sing? Do you do studio singing or live singing?
More live than not. I've sang a lot over the years. I have one of those voices. I think Billy Joel said something similar some years ago, where he's not really a fan of his own voice, but what he does super, super well. Yeah. And my ego isn't able to. I just got enough humility to know that I can't say that. There are, again, all these unmet or some met mentors whose voices are so outstanding. And it's interesting when we talk about vocals, because I can go to some of those. We had talked about Ella Fitzgerald, we had talked about Frank Sinatra, we had talked about Bing Crosby, these vocalists who have so much character, and yet their skill level and their craft is at this amazing place. If they were to go flat or sharp, you would know it, and it would be, okay, this is wrong, and of course you never hear that. Take another vocalist, it could be Sting, it could be Van Morrison, it could certainly be Bob Dylan. There's a ton. Bob Geldof and Mark Knopfler. And these are not vocalists of that particular cloth. They can be flat, they can be sharp, their time can be here, their time can be there, and somehow or another, with what it is that they're doing, it works. If I'm listening to my playback, if I'm not spot on my time and on my pitch, as soon as I start kind of getting waffly, it's nothing like Dylan, it's nothing like Knopfler. It just sucks, and it needs to be redone.
Right. That was sweet. Nice one.
Thank you.
You like that?
There were things I liked about it, and things I liked about the first one. They're both really different.
All right. Well, we'll use them both.
Okay.
At the same time.
Excellent.
You want another pass at that?
One more pass, and then we'll just keep moving.
Okay.
There's a really interesting YouTube that I saw quite a while ago about a guy going through and analyzing David Bowie performance.
Oh, Bowie!
Of, God, I don't even remember the song. But he goes through the performance and he plays the Bowie performance. I think he's got a multi-track, if I remember right, so he's able to isolate it. And then he'll play it back like auto-tuned.
Oh.
And show you, what's good about being a little sharp or a little flat sometimes. And it's really true. Sometimes that we think that we're striving for this sort of perfection of pitch. This is just a bugaboo of mine. Sometimes things are a little more emotional if that gets pushed one way or the other, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So, and that's where,
Because
you
there's
talk about
that-
Dylan or
There's that element of humanity with the sharp and the flat. It's more realistic at times.
With some people, that's true.
And it can separate you from a mix or from a tune,
Yeah.
as opposed to just being one of the instruments.
Well, when I get into suck mode and hear something that's just this must never be heard by another living creature, I'll go back and I'll redo it, and I'll redo it, and I'll redo it. I don't use autotune when I record myself at home, partly because I don't have it. And if I did have it, I wouldn't know how to use it. But I find that the exercise of doing it again and again, not to the point of draining all the life, not to the point of fatigue, but to the point of repetition being like practice, then I'll do that, and then I'll find something that I can at least live with. I'll never sound like any of those other people that I mentioned. I'll never have the voice of a Stevie Wonder.
But there's a lot of, like, John Lennon was famously, known for hating his own voice. And there are a lot of singers like that, right? So I think, it's maybe important to get yourself around that somehow.
Yeah, and I still love to sing.
Yeah.
Doing stuff live. I enjoy putting character into the vocal. I've heard that there's a distinction between being a technician and then having these limitations rather that you make work for you, and I've learned to add character by way of maybe there's a story to be told, there's an emotion to be conveyed, and whether or not somebody might listen to it and enjoy the quality of the voice is one thing. I would hope that would be the case, but I enjoy being inside the music.
I wonder how that approach would apply to someone like, say, Janis Joplin.
Holy cow. There is a woman, I mean, and I mean this in the kindest way possible. This was an amazing black old school blues singer stuck in a white body. She was just, oh my goodness, the soul and the depth that was in there. I'm so sorry about whatever it was that caused her to be self-destructive. And we can say that about a lot of people that we've loved over the years. But man, when she sings, you believe it.
Right.
It's sort of like what Maya Angelou had once said. If somebody shows you who they are, believe them.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the 5/4 measure.
Let me hear that then.
Or something, I don't know.
We're back on, rolling. Let's see, 5, 3, 2, 1.
So we've been talking about how you view your singing, your strengths and weaknesses there. What about elsewhere in your musical oeuvre? Do you have other strengths and weaknesses that you're particularly focused on?
Of course, absolutely. I mean, that's just true for life. It just is, which I think is one of the things that makes. Don't mean to be overly spiritual here, but the idea that it's St. Paul had said one body, many parts. The same thing goes with societies as well. We cannot have a society where everybody's an auto mechanic. Where would we be? We can't have everybody be an artist, everybody be a dentist, everybody be the guy that comes in and collects the trash. We need all of these skill sets to be together. We need to have a healthy, hopefully, we value those skill sets, and we value the people that practice them, because when they're all done in a way where folks are respected, then society is healthy, and our families are healthy, and we're healthy. At least that's what I'd like to believe.
Seems, I'll buy it. I'll totally buy it.
So when you listen to the whole song, you'll notice in the first 5 minutes of the song that Jean-Pierre and Leah trade 8s and 16s. And once again, trading 8s, trading 16s, trading 4s, it's kind of studio talk, for measures. So, for example, Leah might have an 8-measure solo, and then after her solo, Jean-Pierre has an 8-measure solo, or a 16-measure solo, and then a 16-measure solo, or a 4 and 4. So we're trading 4s, we're trading 8s, we're trading 16s. Make sense? So just when you think the song would usually end for like a radio version of the song, usually 4 or 5 minutes is when they cut it off, we start coming to the end, or what would seem like the end of the song. And that's the point that I decided to go all in and create a section for what is called trading 8s. I wanted to do this for a couple of reasons. The first reason is because it is okay to have fun. You see, early in my life, the church experience for me was one of being taught that music like rock and roll and rap, and basically anything not directly proclaiming the name of God or proclaiming the name of Jesus was worldly and at its core satanic. And that if you demonstrate your musical skill too overtly, that you're drawing too much attention to yourself and being prideful and taking glory and praise for yourself instead of giving it to God. So that was kind of the basic sentiment behind that fear. That's what I'm calling it. And to that church culture, the only music that is acceptable is that which is completely edifying and glorifying to God Almighty. And so as a child, I felt my joy being kind of suppressed by that and stifled. I didn't feel I had the freedom to fully express what God put in my heart, because the dogma of the Pharisees had limited my options to an approved list of what they deemed to be acceptable godly music. Now, these are all well-meaning people, and none of them are bad. It's just kind of ignorance begets ignorance. So as an adult, a young adult, I felt much pressure to perform only certain kinds of music, for fear of rejection from the church, rejection from my peers, and even possibly abandonment or punishment by God because I wasn't walking in the center of His will according to what I was told was the center of His will. So, as a person who loves Jesus, I do desire to be filled with God's Spirit daily, and I talk to Him daily. And He has grown me over time and freed me from that. And so for that old religious sentiment, I have two words: horseshit. Can I get an amen? So that being said, here's a couple of scriptures from the Bible where Paul writes that has helped to free my heart. Check it out. Philippians 3:8. More than that, I also consider everything to be a loss in view of the surpassing value of knowing Christ Jesus my Lord. Because of Him, I have suffered the loss of all things and consider them as dung, so that I may gain Christ. Interesting scripture. Let's go to the next one. Galatians 5:1. It is for freedom that Christ has set us free. Now make sure that you stay free and don't get tied up again in slavery to the law. So if you just want to rock out or jam for God, don't be worried about what others think. Don't worry about the judgment of your peers or the judgment of the church, because God knows your heart. And his opinion of you is the only opinion that matters. And just so we're clear, he sent Jesus to die for our sins, for your sins and mine, before we even had any awareness to ask for forgiveness, before we were even created, in fact. So, he thinks very highly of you. And to balance this conversation, it is true. You could go off the deep end and you can sing about things that are explicit, that are immoral, that are self-glorifying and self-gratifying and even satanic. I believe the heart of the matter is the heart in the matter. I believe that if you follow God's Holy Spirit and the direction of his Spirit, that you can't go wrong. So feel free to believe whatever you want about that. This is just where I'm coming from. So, not meaning to give you a mini sermon, but I felt that was important because I suspect I'm not the only one who's been oppressed by that. So, one of the other reasons that I wanted to do the trading solo section is because I love to hear the skill of the pros. I always have, and it's always been one of my favorite parts of music since I was a kid. Growing up, I got to see bands play live and do trading solos, and it was, to me, one of the most fun parts of the experience was seeing how extraordinary God's creativity can be through his creation. And so I think it is a blast, and because it is okay to have fun, we're going to do just that. So, if you remember Leah back in episode 1, her approach to doing her solos was to do the loop recording and basically loop record her doing improv for about 10 minutes, which ended up giving Clark and I 10 minutes worth of material to pick and choose from to create the performance that we wanted. So that was really nice. And in Jean-Pierre's case, he went the more traditional route in how he recorded his solos. And we did a number of individual takes to capture his solos. So let's get back into the studio and watch for a minute as he prepares for the trading solo sections. Check it out. Yeah, it's a fun course.
Oh,
So it's like,
wait, where are we? So we're not into another course, we're into another bass solo at that point?
correct. Okay, so you got an 8, it's Leah 8, you 8, Leah 4, you 4, and then she takes us to the finish line.
Okay, so after the 4, then I'm done except for coming back in and comping at some point?
Yeah, then it's kind of over.
That's right,
Yeah,
we
there's
never
just
go...
an in vamp and a retard and out. Yeah.
Okay, so I need to find out where that 5/4 is because I haven't counted a 5/4 yet.
Go ahead and play through that section real quick. Pause. Did you hear it?
3 and 4. I do.
Okay.
It's like an extra beat there.
Yeah.
It is. I kind of wish that this had gone back again to the chorus to get that sense of, oh, we're winding up and wrapping up here.
Yeah.
I don't know. We could always insert that later. I mean, that would take time,
Okay, can we quote now? What do you think?
Should I just give you like a whole session of you can just quote for like a half an hour and get it out of your system, and then we'll just actually move on?
It is the magnificence of ADD. It's just amazing.
During one of our sessions, you mentioned that he has a little bit of humor in his playing. What did you mean by that?
Well, the most obvious thing is he's very fond of quoting other pieces of music, and sometimes the quotes are pretty hilarious. You know, it doesn't surprise me anymore if he throws a little bit of the Gilligan's Island theme, you know, or theme from Star Trek or something into the middle of you know, or some '60s rock piece or whatever.
Or Nutcracker?
Yeah, Nutcracker a little bit in this one. So that's probably the most obvious thing. He's good at surprising you a little bit with, you think you know where he's going when he's soloing, when he's taking the lead, and sometimes he takes just interesting sort of left turns that make his stuff sound pretty fresh a lot of the time. You're like, oh yeah, I know what he's doing. Oh, wait, no, that's not what he's doing. And he's real good at that. I appreciate that in any musician. It's being able to provide some surprise is kind of the, you know, one of the core talents of an advanced musician. Being able to do that in improvisation. So, and he's got that.
Yeah, so with that in mind, you got this wonderful 5/4, trading 8s, trading 4s, and then come to the outro, and you are welcome.
The 5/4 is what's taking us into Leah's first 8. Okay.
Correct.
And you kind of don't have to worry about it because she's got a little uptick there, ba-ba-da-ba, on that beat.
We'll just listen to what we've got. Maybe it's okay. Okay.
But yeah, it would have been perfect.
I think that I can duplicate that and hang out through that, or get out in time for that extra beat.
Just let Leah take the extra beat.
Yeah. Punching right there, bump. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. You ready?
Uh-huh.
Okay. 2 measures ahead.
Where are you hoping to take your talents at this stage of your life?
To
We kind of
Disneyland.
talked about that, to Disneyland. like, what's your next big project and that kind of thing? And I know you've got the thing that I'm not sure it was clear, but you're a Nord artist, so you're sponsored by Nord, right?
I've got some sort of a deal with them. I don't know exactly what it looks like yet, because it's been remote, and then there's been COVID, so I don't know entirely what that all means, except that new instrument comes out, I can call the distributor and have them ship me one for a special price, and I make sure that when I post things or I do album projects and such, that that gets a mention, so they get a mention, and I'm happy to do that because, man, they make really great stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it sounded great today. I mean, that's really is kind of,
and that's not a stock
piano
sound,
right?
So they pile on tons of sounds when you get these instruments brand new, and I think that's just to give people an idea of how broad the palette is.
Right.
But all these different piano samples, for example, they come in a bunch of different sizes that you can download from the site. They've got small, medium, large, and they're extra large. And the extra large ones are the ones that have more character. They're sampled across the entire keyboard. There are these specialized elements that on one hand might be sort of frivolous, but on the other hand, add a little bit more life. So, life, if I let up on the sustain pedal, for example, you'll hear a thunk. There might be some resonance that you're hearing from the body of the piano in there. And because I use this instrument so often in recording sessions, having that stuff be a part of the sound makes it all that more realistic. And that's a wonderful thing. That's the one.
Right.
And we are back to this. That.
That's what I want to double check. In that one, the acoustic guitar is just kind of lumbering along. So this is a little more open to interpretation. No, so what's the main chord? Is that
An E minor, it sounds like.
E minor, right? You play that for me, please? Okay, so yeah, maybe just tinker around in the E minor.
Now you can quote.
Oh.
Pull out all the Stevie Wonders. As long as it's not I Just Called.
Oh, no.
Did you just remove half of your material? Okay, so go ahead and play.
What else is going on in that besides?
Record.
Bass and percussion, bass and
Bass percussion.
Okay.
drum.
And then we got Jean-Pierre for 8 measures doing the same thing in E minor.
Yeah.
Actually, if you go to F sharp minor, that'll really sweeten it up.
Or
Oh, I like it. Tangy.
oh gosh.
Too much tang gives me heartburn. So let's give it a shot.
Okay. You
That just threw me. That tossed me back to the NASA endorsement of Tang back in the '60s. It's just amazing.
Tang.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, there it is. Let's see. Maybe we'll hear that.
You're doing great, buddy. Not that you need to hear that.
Thank you.
I have another question that pops up, which is, are there any unrealized dreams, passions, aspirations you have in music that you'd like to do with your talents? Or is it to take whatever the next job is that comes your way?
Yeah. That's pretty much how I do things. I've never been one of those 5-year plan kinds of guys.
Mm-hmm.
It's just something that doesn't even occur to me. I hear some people talk about these things as if that's what everybody should be doing.
Sure.
And it doesn't occur to me. So in that particular regard, no. The fact that people still call, text, email, message me to come and do something is wonderful. And I get to do a big variety of things. And
so for you, is that where the joy is?
oh yeah,
That's where the passion is.
I love to play.
Okay.
And my attitude is one of those things that I'm constantly being reminded of just how bad it can be. So I have to remember, for example, the session that we did today, it's important for me to sort of like get centered and because I can have some ideas. And I think that it's important to bring experience and ideas together. And what do you think about this? But the end result needs to bless you, the artist. Mm-hmm. You need to feel that this has been a good thing. It's good for your music. It's good for your soul. It's good for your investment. All those different things, you can break it down. And so much of that comes down to not only skill sets, but also to attitudes. And I, my attitude is a work in progress.
Me too. You're not alone.
Okay. Ready?
Ooh, yeah.
Same place.
Put this here. Let's go for a little Hall of Man King there for a second. All right, ready?
Uh-huh.
You funny character.
Okay, so we're going to talk. We're going to bring it back to the current project with Jeremie. What's your overall impression of Jeremie's music?
I think that I sort of apprehend some of your intent in the music. You're certainly being expressive, but that's not the end result. The end result incorporates the community of making the music happen in the first place. Because you could certainly just simply be a guy that sits at home and records something for yourself, and that's all there is to it. I think you're tapping in to something that you love to do, and then you love to be able to share that. It can't get entirely shared to whatever an audience might be, whether that's family or that's friends or it's a congregation or whatever that ends up being. And I have no real concern for that. My concern is being part of being an individual in this other community that comes together to make your thing bigger and more grand and more expressive.
Mm-hmm.
And without what it is that you launched to begin with, none of the other stuff can happen.
Right.
Yeah, keep rolling.
The bass set.
Okay, now something happened. It wasn't 4, it was, she did another 8.
Yeah, I believe so. Is that what that was?
Not sure what's supposed to happen right there.
Let's find out.
That was pretty snappy.
So, this is right after your first solo.
Going into Jeremie's.
After going into Jeremie's little teenager thing.
How do you find it working with Jeremie? What's it like?
I mean, he's a pain in the ass. What do you mean?
Let's pretend he's, yeah. I was going to say pretend he's not here, but I think you are. I think you are.
Oh.
No, you're super easygoing to work with. And I'm grateful for that. There are sometimes we find ourselves in situations where there are micromanagers, and some of the micromanagers, I'm gonna not use names here, but some of them are brilliant, but they micromanage what's going on.
Right.
And then there are other folks that are clearly, utterly clueless that love to micromanage, and then that just becomes. If anybody is wondering if there is a hell, that's hell.
Right.
Yeah, I reserve a micromanagement knob on the mixer that's not hooked up to anything. I say, okay, you just run this knob.
Bless you.
Doesn't always work.
Whoa, what's this? Stop.
It's what you started with.
I was really trying to amuse you guys. Did you
Yeah,
catch that?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit of nutcracker in there.
A little bit of that. So, but the skank kind of felt, the bubble rather. Okay, so one more time, I'm trying to get a sense of what's happening here. After Leah's second solo in that section, we're back to Jeremie, but I'm out. I'm just sort of adding
Improv.
colors.
Yeah.
Well, not exactly.
Okay.
There is a space for you. It's 8 of Leah, 8 of you, 2 of Jeremie, 4 of Leah, then there's 4 for you, even though there's kind of other instruments coming in, but nobody's soloing. There's, Jeremie's rhythm guitar comes in there and stuff. So 4 for you, and then back to Leah, I think for 8, with a little bit of Jeremie at the end of that.
Okay.
So you got a 4 measure, last chance. Last gasp solo there. But you actually played something pretty cool there that time, so I don't know.
Which, this or this?
Well, when you were doing that,
Was it
he responded to that.
I could execute that
A little bit.
and leave fewer body parts around.
Yeah, forgive me, I did hear a couple of smash notes.
If you hear this, that's intended.
I don't think so, I was hearing.
Give me
I think I heard a fat forefinger in there somewhere.
a fat 4. A fat 4.
Let's see, where are we going to go from?
I'd like to comment on that since I want to return the favor. I love working with you, man.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I think you're a great personality. You're a great musician. But most importantly, you're a great person, in my opinion. And I like to align myself with people who I feel are good people. And you are one of those. So I enjoy your company and enjoy collaborating. Hope to do it again.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's just awesome. I love working with you, man. Thanks for coming in.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
So, come back from London, I guess that's what he's saying.
Yeah.
Crap. Except
You can just punch in that last note if you want.
if we can do that, maybe so.
We've got
Everything else was solid.
Or actually, the previous one will have that.
Yeah, we've got a couple.
Yeah, that one was
previous
pretty darn
ones
good.
Which were pretty cool.
I've done that many times
Okay.
on guitar.
Extra super modern jazz harmony right there.
Oh my gosh.
Hybrid.
Well, it was a +9 chord if you really think about it. So it was the Pickering third at the end.
Jean-Pierre, I want to ask you, how did you enjoy working with Clark?
Oh, that was a hoot. As I had said earlier, there was something I liked about him to begin with. First of all, I know that Clark is a musician. So,
No, I just play one on the radio.
nice.
I don't know. Sorry.
Well, then I discovered that he and his wife are cat people. And me and my wife, my wife and I are cat people.
Yeah, we're dabblers compared to you, but we do love the cats.
Yeah, I mean, if it's one cat that you love and it's simpatico, and there you go.
It's funny you say that. When I heard you going, you have cats? I heard that and I thought, oh, they have that in common. I literally thought that. It's funny you're saying that.
Oh yeah, yeah. I had to go to the bathroom while I was upstairs, and I pushed that urge, that need, aside so that I could get down on the floor and pet Mr. Lou.
Get some furry love.
Again.
That's tricky.
Ready?
Mm-hmm. What happened there?
We go from there to a little classic jazz maneuver where there's an all stop. Take a listen. There it is.
Okay, I just need context.
Yeah.
What do you want to hear?
From what happens after that second solo of mine.
What happens is it's literally a solo.
How did you like working with Jean-Pierre this round?
Well, he's super easy to work with. I mean, he's just basically an idea factory. So you kind of just plug him in and say go, and then yeah, and you know, I think he comes in with like a preconceived notion of how much he wants to give you. So he will do like this last session, he came in and did 3 passes of each section. Almost like he had it kind of mapped out, like, okay, I'll give him 3 things. And each one was different, each one was really good. It was a little difficult comping together because there were a lot of choices. He's a really brilliant keyboard player with a lot of technical skills. So he's easy in the studio, very easy. I mean, you don't have to do anything. All right, ready?
Hmm?
A little bit of leading.
Even God doesn't have that kind of faith in me.
Exactly. Ready, set, 1, go.
more time. Oh, and then we're at the walk down. So we didn't do a full verse. We're just suddenly at the walk down.
We're kind of wrapping things up now.
Okie doke.
I really wanted to make this interesting for you. How am I doing?
Okay. And then after that, for the walk down, back here, and then where does it go?
You want to hear that?
Yeah. In fact, let's punch and see if I can figure it out.
See if you can just guess.
There's 12 notes.
Right.
At some point,
1/12 of them will do it right some of the time. I'll punch it in from the same spot. Right?
Yeah. At the top of Jeremie's solo.
Okay.
When you get to the end of that, then you're going to repeat the last phrase.
What do you mean the last phrase?
You'll see when we get there. I don't want to distract you. Sorry.
That phrase?
Yeah, the last.
Don't worry about it.
The last three notes.
Yeah.
You've worked with a number of mixing engineers in your life.
Recording engineers, mixing engineers, some mastering engineers as well.
So is there anything about Clark that you would say separates him from other engineers you've worked with?
Let me say something that's not an answer to that. But one of the things that I've come in this short period of time to enjoy about Clark is he knows his stuff. He knows his gear. He knows Pro Tools. It's really important to bring that up, because how many sessions have we done where somebody doesn't know their gear? And we sit around waiting to finally let the creative juices flow, and they get a chance, and then it shuts down again, and they get a chance, and it shuts down, and it's just annoying and frustrating and
time-consuming,
debilitating and time-consuming and all of that stuff. So when an engineer knows their stuff, has good ears, is congenial, so that's all really great stuff. So I would be happy to work with you again.
Well, we'll write some stuff in New Orleans. I want to go to New Orleans first.
Crap. One more time.
You got it that time. Repeat the last three notes. Last three notes.
Okay, so it's not a repeat
of the whole phrase. No, it's the repeat of the last three notes of that phrase.
Okay, now I'm just going to need to listen to it without the piano.
No, just the end there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a guitar. Sorry.
Okay, let's go back
if you just
to the top of the guitar solo.
Top of the guitar, the last.
Yeah, where that stop down is. One.
You know, sometimes you are just sick.
I know, and there are antibiotics for that.
Yeah.
No, there aren't.
Yeah, but no counselors for it.
Okay, let's hear what just happened there.
That was actually shockingly close.
Yeah. I know.
To actually do. Okay, well, being a part of Jeremie's music now, what do you hope to see it accomplish?
I suppose because I am, again, one of those guys that doesn't have a 5-year plan. I don't think in terms of sales and receipts. I just like to do the work and hopefully get paid reasonably well to do that. Payment can come certainly financially, but payment is also in the way that the efforts are received. So in that particular regard, what I would hope for you and your music is that it's well received, that it blesses people, it feeds their souls, it meets them in a spot where on one hand it might provide some delight, on another hand it might provide some healing. You know, that's up to the individual that is on the receiving end. You know, once you do your job, then you hand it off to God, you hand it off to the universe, you to the ether or whatever, and off it goes. And where it ends up, no one knows.
There's probably a song in there.
I'm thinking of quoting Gloria Swanson from Sunset Boulevard. Oh, you beautiful people. Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up.
All I was looking for was a smart aleck comment. You delivered, buddy.
So when you said listen, did you mean listen to what you just did, or listen to the track, or?
Exactly, from where we punched, and just listen to what happened.
Okay.
Okay, let's just punch, do another take. There's some cool, lovely accidents. Let's just do another.
Okay, so from that spot?
From the spot meaning where the stop down is.
Yeah, so I'm gonna, from 2 measures before that, and then you're in.
Okay. Oh, no, from the top of Jeremie's solo, my bad.
Oh, okay. Make sure I know exactly where that is. Okay, here we go. 2 measures before that, but then the punch.
Oh, boy. One more time. And again.
Again?
Yes. Stop for a second. I know that there was some piano in there. Can I hear it?
Yeah.
It just gives me an idea of where to come in, or
Sure.
or you know. Again.
Nice. I like that pass. How did you like that?
I think it was okay. Let's hear it on repeat.
Mm-hmm. What did you think of the choices he gave us this time?
They're very Jean-Pierre, but I thought they were really great. He does have a tendency to like pushing into the sort of Latin-ish, Latinish jazz-ish turf. But for this particular piece, it was super appropriate because it was It's Okay to Have Fun is a kind of a groove thing. And what he did seemed to be kind of right right down the center line. It was good. I don't know what all we got else planned. I think it's really up to you. And JP, what do you feel about this? I've got a lot of material to work with.
Yes, you do.
I feel pretty confident, but I'm not the producer, and I'm not the talent.
I feel pretty good. How do you feel?
I think that you've got plenty to keep you occupied and to put together something.
I got plenty to work on.
So, Clark, what do you think?
It's good.
I think that's all of them.
That's a wrap.
Hooray.
You are the man.
I am a man.
Man, appreciate it. Okay. Now, before we begin to close things up today, I have one more interesting twist to Jean-Pierre's story for the Just Let Go album. And believe it or not, it involves the song I have been showing you the most for season 2 of this video series. You guessed it, the song Forever Hallelujah. You see, part of what happens when you're developing a song and all the individual parts to a song is you have to leave room to experiment with all kinds of different things. One of those experiments was with Jean-Pierre. What could that be, you might wonder? Well, I'll put it this way. Before there was George, there was Jean-Pierre. You heard me right. I had originally asked Jean-Pierre to sing the lead tenor vocal part for Forever Hallelujah. I had heard him sing a number of years ago, roughly about 21 years ago to be exact, and I remembered that he had a high tenor voice and that I enjoyed that performance I heard him sing many years ago, but I didn't know for sure if the sound of his voice was going to be the proper fit for that song, Forever Hallelujah. And the only way to find out was to ask him for a recording of him singing to the song that I wrote. So after convincing him after about a year to try, he did do a recording. And so let's get back to his interview and hear his thoughts on this experiment. Take a look.
All right, so have you heard any other songs from the Just Let Go album other than the one you were working on today?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Just the one that I was asking you to maybe sing on.
Ah.
Yeah.
We shall not talk about that again.
Well, it's all good. It's part of the business.
It was. What was the name of that tune again?
Forever Hallelujah.
Forever Hallelujah. So he asked me to sing rather than play on this. And that's sort of backwards to the way that I normally work. People don't normally ask me to sing on recordings. And for good reason. But he, okay, there it is. Put down the gauntlet. What am I going to do with this thing? So the best I could do was to try to sort of see what this thing is, what it has to say, what are the dynamics like, and some ideas came up. And I am not a rock singer, but it felt to me at the time that's where it sort of needed to go.
Right.
So I spent considerable time mustering energy and ideas, and the repetition that allowed me to warm up and sort of build into this thing. And I've listened back to it over time, and it's a combination of cringe and pride that both fill it. And you've decided to go into another direction, which is only sensible, because I always felt like, are you out of your mind?
But it wasn't for the reason that you think. You think, or at least what comes across to me is that you think that you suck. And that is not what I hear. I hear, and I use this analogy in my interview, would you use Stevie Wonder to sing for Megadeth?
No.
Why?
It would be as wrong as the first time that I listened to Chick Corea sitting in with, I can't remember if it was Stone Temple Pilots or something like that. It was horrible.
Yeah.
He was horrible. And he is one of my unmet mentors. God rest his soul. He's a brilliant, wonderful pianist. But a rock pianist?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you have this wonderful singer, but he doesn't, it's not the right voice or fit for Metallica.
Exactly.
So based on that premise, I said, this isn't the fit I'm looking for, but I want to reserve that for possibly vocal tunes in the future, other types of tunes, because I do think you have a good enough voice to record. And so we'll just kind of put a pause on that for future reference.
Is that PAWS, by the way?
Pause.
In your case, it probably would be.
But yeah, great performance. In this sense, I did hear a little bit of a hint of Gaddy Lee in a couple of spots.
Exactly.
And it was like, wow, that's
Exactly.
cool. That's cool.
Hallelujah to the King of all kings. Hallelujah to the Creator of all things. Hallelujah.
And he was one of the guys that I just thought, okay, what might he do in this situation? If you haven't heard it yet, it's a tune where, at least in my approach to it, it started as kind of like this George H.W. Bush kinder, gentler sort of a performance, and then sort of went into the Getty zone, the Getty sphere.
Highway to the Getty Zone. Okay.
Exactly. Now, that was me trying to sort of appropriate that kind of style and that kind of range and such. And Getty's Getty. He nails that stuff because he's him.
Right. Right. And the interesting thing about that is I wouldn't have used Getty for that particular song.
Who were you thinking of?
I was thinking of Scorpions.
Stevie Wonder, I'm sure. Sorry.
Okay.
No, Scorpions, Def Leppard.
So it's still rock vocals.
Yeah, longer sustaining notes, big, big lungs, that kind of thing.
Which I don't have that. I used to snorkel, and I'd go down for upwards to a minute. But when you're talking about a really great example of this would be John Bon Jovi. This is a guy that can sing rock music, but he studied classical music for a while and classical vocals for a while. So his lungs, his range, his power and dynamics and such, they're serious.
Right.
And I know that's, I can listen to that and I can think, oh wow, if only, but that ain't gonna happen.
Right.
Any more than I'm gonna sound like Stevie. Ain't gonna happen.
Right. Right. So based on those premises, I went in a different direction and found George Austin, who's got a little bit of training with some longer, classical type stuff, drama, operatic type sounds.
Yeah, that sounds
And
right.
so when you take that and mix that in, kind of like Queensryche.
Yeah.
And so you take that and mix it into that mix, and it's like, okay, that's a better fit. So that's kind of how that all went. But I do like your voice.
Well, thanks.
And I'm thinking, man, there's got to be a way I can incorporate that in something in the future. Wouldn't that be fun?
Sure.
And get him in here and do some work on the mic? If we can build his confidence enough. Or, at the very least, I'll send you a fifth of something you really like.
Be confident. Makes me think of one of my favorite kids' movies, Never Ending Story. Be confident.
Yeah. So I just want to say thank you again to Jean-Pierre for coming along for the ride, as I brought you in during the experimental stage of developing vocals for that song. And I want you to know that that performance does have special meaning for me. Even though it's not for the final mix, it was an important step for me in the development of that song. And I couldn't have gotten there without your willingness to give it a shot and help me find my way. So thank you for that, Jean-Pierre. It should also be noted that for those who are pursuing their dreams, what Jean-Pierre and I experienced here was not failure. Trying different things is how you narrow down what it is you're really searching for. And this is true for music, but also true in life. And it's also so valuable to be humble and honest with what you can do and what you can't do. For example, I can play piano. And in some cases, I can play fairly well. But I can't do what Jean-Pierre does on the piano, which is why I asked his help for the parts on It's Okay to Have Fun that are well beyond my own abilities. And at the end of the day, we all need one another to fulfill and accomplish our destinies. So I would say be open, be humble, and enjoy the journey, because it's all good, folks. So with that, let's start rolling the closing scenes to this episode and have just a pinch more fun while we're at it. Here we go. Well, everybody, it's Jean-Pierre on Evening Shadows, and It's Okay to Have Fun. And we hope to do it again someday, yes?
Come on.
All right, man. God bless. Thank you.
Thank you.
Finally, anything you want to say to wrap up to Jeremie or to his fans? You know, any final parting thoughts?
Yes, I hope I passed the audition.
Good to go.
And if that's it, then I think it says here that Jeremie has a gift for you.
Yes.
And then the humiliation is over.
Okay. Well,
Let the hazing begin.
Yeah. Well, you said it.
so that just about wraps up our time with Jean-Pierre, but there's something missing. Can you guess what that might be? Indeed. It's that time again, folks. But assuming you have just popped in for this episode and you have missed the entire video series, you might be asking yourself, what time is it? Well, it's time for something that all the musicians of the Just Let Go project have gotten to enjoy. Check it out.
Brothers of the Flatulence.
Okay, it's the moment. Clark, would you please grab the gift there? The special item. And before you open it, would you mind just reading the card out loud to the camera? All the musicians.
It's not an iPhone because Jeremie has all the iPhones apparently.
I saw you reaching for that. What is that up there? It looks like
This?
a patch bay.
Yeah,
of
it's
some
just a
sort.
patch bay. I'm not using it anymore.
But that wasn't the gift. So.
No, no, you needed one. So
I'm looking into getting my toes back into modular synthesizers. So, I'm going to say thank you for always being so open to come in, work with me. I think you're awesome. Here's a small gift to show my appreciation because I appreciate you. May it always bring joy to your heart and a smile to your face. It's something that doesn't have an expiration date, apparently. Your friend, Jeremie. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Nice. Sometimes when I get these gifts after sessions, what it is it's a little box, and it's like that Jack in the Box that pops out.
Nothing so silly as that.
I always wondered if whoopee cushions had that scratch and sniff smell, but they don't. But here we go. The proof is in.
It does
It
work.
is so me. Thank you.
You are welcome. You are welcome.
These no cats were harmed in the production of that whoopee cushion.
Be sure and take that home and bless Susan with it.
Oh, you know I will.
Oh, that reminds me, when we were on worship team, Susan and I were on team on a Wednesday night together with Anthony Foster.
Oh, okay.
And she had one of her vocalists with her, and she was trying to show her a couple of notes on her little phone piano. You seen those little apps? Well, I had one too. A prank one. And it made little noises.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so we're getting ready to go on stage. Anthony comes back and says, okay, we're on, let's go. And so she puts her phone down and go, wait, Susan, can you show me that real quick, what you were teaching us? So she goes, oh, okay, real quick. And she's all, oh my gosh. And so I'm busting up. She's laughing. The singer's laughing. We go out stage and we're all we got the giggles. And there's like, 800 people out in front of us. And Anthony's all, 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we're playing, but we got the giggles. And it was just, I so messed with her. It was so funny.
Oh, that's funny.
I don't know if she remembers that, but you might.
I would imagine she would remember that.
Oh gosh, it was perfect.
Her name, her maiden name, by the way, is Hayes. So she got hazed.
Oh yeah. So that concludes our story today regarding Jean-Pierre's part in the Just Let Go album. And to Jean-Pierre, I just want to say thank you once again. It is always a privilege, my friend. Hope we can do it again. So thank you. So for you watching, if you have made it through the entire extended episode of Jean-Pierre, then I first want to say thank you for taking the time to listen and watch this chapter of my story. And to say thank you, I am going to give you a bonus scene. Here's the scoop. You see, It's Okay to Have Fun was a very giant, complex piece of music to create and arrange. A lot of moving parts. And I decided that after fully editing Leah and Jean-Pierre and myself in the song, there was this sense of something missing. You see, I had created space for Leah and Jean-Pierre to trade solos with one another, and for the main part of the tune, I was pretty much carrying the song with the lead guitar. The problem was that we had great solos from Jean-Pierre and Leah, but no trading solos from me, the main artist of the album. So that was kind of a problem. So for the song to be complete, I needed to step up and join in on the fun. So that basically all of the major players are together and we're doing our thing, and you aren't left with this sense of something missing, like, oh hey, why wasn't Jeremie soloing with them? So anything like that. So in this next scene, I'm going to show you one of my solo punch-ins that went on to become part of the final album in the trading solo section for this song. Then I'm going to let you hear that trading solo section with all three of us, Jean-Pierre, Leah, and myself, all finally put together. But if you want to hear the whole song, then you're going to want to purchase your copy of my full fall release of 2023, the Just Let Go album. Now, to give you a little bit more backstory, just so you kind of have the full picture of what went on before I show these final scenes. I wrote the song in 2018, and in my home studio I recorded the bongos, both an acoustic rhythm and lead guitar, and a bass guitar for Leah to practice to. I also recorded some voice pads on the keyboard, which we kept to go along with Jean-Pierre's keyboards. I created the drum kit via MIDI samples assigned to a keyboard, so I did play the drums that way, as opposed to using a drum machine. I don't currently own a drum kit, and I had a 15-song album, over 10 musicians to record, plus a giant, almost 40 episode, 2-season video series. So there was not enough time or money to get a standard kit. So Clark and I just knocked it out in a day, and it actually sounds pretty darn good. So with that, let's get to these final major samples, and I truly hope you enjoy the appetizer. And with that, I am going to sign off for now. So enjoy. It is okay to have fun. Remember that. And I pray God blesses you today. And I'll see you next time. Okay, I'm here in my home studio working on a song called It's Okay to Have Fun. And this is kind of late in the game. Got most of the songs done, just 5 left to do. It is March of 2023. And we've got this section in this song where Jean-Pierre, Leah, and I are trading fours. So we did some editing on that song, and we've created spaces now for me to put 4 measures of soloing in, so I need to do a couple of passes of that. I don't have that material yet, so I'm going to take care of that now, and then when I see Clark next week, I'll bring those tracks to him, and we'll put them in the mix, and then I'm going to show you what it sounds like. All right, I'm going to do a very quick tricky blues scale for one of my 4 measure solos. I've got a pick in my hand, so I'll give it a shot here. That is a take. I think I'm going to use that one. Sorry.
That's funny.
Go for a little Hall of Mannequin there for a second. All right, ready?
You funny countdown. You don't mind if I hover?
I'll let you know if I go like this. I mean, there's either a fly in here or
So, what songs have you come into play on for this latest project?
It's okay to have fun.
Yeah, I know that, but what songs have you come in to play on this project? Sorry, couldn't resist.
Whoa, what's this? Stop.
It's what you started with.
I was really trying to amuse you guys. Did you catch that?
I did. Yeah, a little bit of nutcracker in there.
A little bit of that. So
That was kind of fun, and it's okay to have fun.
okay, good.
I think I heard a fat forefinger in there somewhere.
a fat four. A fat four.
That was actually shockingly close.
Yeah, I know.
To actually do. Okay.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. It's going in the outtakes reel.
Rap. Except for
Can you just hold that all the way through? I need the whole song.
Are you having fun?
Well, I hear I'm supposed to have some fun, so I'm trying really hard to have some fun. But yeah, I am. In spite of my own self, I'm having a great time.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is okay to have fun.
Thank you. It's good to get permission to have fun.
That's why I named this song "It's Okay to Have Fun" because we're supposed to be having fun.
Right, not
Just-
suffering. It's just music. It's just fun.
Yeah, rip it up on the guitar, rip it up on the bass. Let's get Jean-Pierre in here. Have some fun on the piano.
Perfect. He's great too.
Jacob Collier, watch out.
Oh, geez. Hopefully we'll see her again. Yay!
Thank you.
Good job. Oh, and she's going to do a reaction video, so we'll get that too. Now we're in outer space.
London calling.
Right?
I can even ask.
Accordion.
the proof is in.
It does work.
So me. Thank you.
You are welcome. Hello, I hope you enjoyed that episode. Now, if you want to watch more episodes, you simply go on YouTube and type in Jeremie Heston, followed by My Journey Making Music, the season number, and the episode number that you want. I have 2 seasons out, and there are many episodes with wonderful stories and all kinds of fun things to watch. Also, at the end of season 2, I am releasing 2 very big music videos for the song that I wrote entitled Forever Hallelujah. And I will be releasing a rock music video with a rock band and all the singers, and an a cappella music video. The final episode for season 2, the season finale, includes the a cappella video, and that is the Fun Facts episode. So there's the information you need for the video series. And for finding my music, I have 3 albums out. One is Christmas Guitar Piece, the other is A Light in the Storm, and my 3rd fall release of 2023 is Just Let Go, and that should be released in November of 2023. It should be available to download all of that music on iTunes or Amazon. Hopefully Spotify, I believe so. There's been a lot going on trying to get all of this done. And so if you don't see it up right away, just be patient. I'll get it done as quickly as I can. And you should be able to download all my music on all of the major sites. So there's all the information you need to enjoy the videos and to enjoy the music. Thank you again for watching. Thank you for all your support. And I hope you will go and download the music today. God bless you, and I will talk to you another time. Take care.